us, like every other business, do we have enough cash? How's our liquidity? Are we going to be able to make it through a prolonged downturn? Did some renegotiation, raise some money? Check, got that. So I can sleep at night knowing the company will be around. Looking forward, look, Google has used their unfair advantage as a gatekeeper to most of the internet to drive a lot of traffic into their funnel at the expense of everyone else. We see the government taking some excellent actions there. I think that's great for the health of the internet, yes, in travel, but in really all categories as Google expands their view.
Look, hotels are probably in a better position than the airlines in the short term because people still need a place to stay when they're not home. So, in the short term, rates may be depressed, but the demand is going to come back. It's the airlines that have a much more difficult position because they have a lot of variable costs associated with each flight. And the business traveler who usually paid for those flights, I think is further off to the horizon in terms of coming back into the marketplace. But hotels are going to be just fine.
So we're going to see that now. We're going to see a big shakeout next year. And who do you think's most vulnerable?
I hope so. I think the companies that were average and were not well financed either, and were not terribly great at execution, will be weeded out, and they should be. And that's what a good downturn does. What I hate seeing though is travel suppliers being weeded out as part of that process.
It's a buzzword. I think that if you think of it, is we're providing as much comfort as possible to get people back on planes, back into the hotels, and back traveling. And there's this whole myth of the risk, and it just deals with consumer confidence. And obviously, if there's no corporate travel, that stops most of us dead in the tracks of traveling. If that confidence factor comes back through rapid testing, through the vaccine now, and through us taking better care and providing solutions, that's the way that we need to continue forward. But I do believe that there's still a service component, and there's still interaction need. So I always look at convenience on the one hand, facilitating, but also still having touch points, because it's still about a human experience.
But really, we got a confidence gap amongst customers here, and we need to establish some comfort level, not as just individuals, but as an industry. And I think a lot of people landed on the virtual health passport. And I laugh at this a little bit as a technologist. This could actually be, beyond currency and Bitcoin, the first real blockchain solution in terms of following you along as a traveler and then informing you of things like contact tracing and other things that were going on.
This thing's going to be in our rearview mirror very quickly. And I think the idea that there would ever be another global pandemic is something we should aspire to, is a zero pandemic world. We should have the early warning system, and we should be acting globally, all leaders, that when there is the sign of a pandemic, we know how to shut down borders very quickly. Sorry to say this at a travel conference, so that we can play the long game economically.